hopefully setting their differences aside. President-elect Donald Trump meeting with Mitt Romney tomorrow afternoon in New Jersey, leading some to speculate whether the former Massachusetts governor is under consideration for a cabinet position. The meeting taking place only 8 months after their vicious dispute during the primaries, and I'm sure you all remember. Let's play it back.
Donald Trump is a phony, a fraud. His promises are as worthless as a degree from Trump University.
He was begging for my endorsement. I could have said, Mitt, drop to your knees. He would have dropped to his knees. He was begging.
There's plenty of evidence that Mr. Trump is a con man, a fake. Mr. Trump has changed his positions not just over the years, but over the course of the campaign.
Mitt is a failed candidate. He failed. He failed horribly.
Wow. Here now, Ryan Williams, former Romney spokesperson. Ryan, how in the world, after all that, can they come together and agree to work together?
Well, look, I think it's the issues that were raised during the campaign have been litigated. Donald Trump won. He's our president-elect, and I think people are willing to put it behind them. I know from knowing Governor Romney, he cares about the future of this country. He wants to see President-elect Trump do very well. And that's why he reached out to him after the election to congratulate him, and Trump followed up with a request for a meeting. So I think it's a good sign that President-elect Trump is willing to reach out even to some of his sharpest critics at this point and meet with them.
Well, sharpest critics, I think, is a nice way of putting it. But I got to say, they are both business people, and one thing that a lot of politicians don't get is that business people very often can work together with people that they might not necessarily like, sometimes better than politicians can.
I agree with you, and I also think that Governor Romney has a perspective, having gone from being a businessman into government, that he can share with Trump. You can't just snap your fingers and make things happen like you can in a company as a CEO. You have a legislative body to deal with. Government moves very slowly. It can be frustrating for CEO types like Trump.
To be Secretary of State, which is the main position we've heard talk about, they have to have similar views on things. I'm wondering about Russia. Remember during the Obama-Romney debate when Mitt caught a lot of grief for having said that he thought Russia was the #1 problem in the world. Now you have Donald Trump talking about how we can maybe work with Russia to kick ISIS out of the Middle East. So might they disagree or come to an agreement on that?
Well, I think there are differing views between the two men on Russia. Although if Romney or anybody else were to become Secretary of State, they would provide their advice and counsel to the president. But at the end of the day, the president makes the decision on the direction of foreign policy for this country. So I don't want to get ahead of myself here and say what Governor Romney would do as Secretary of State, but anybody who serves under President Trump, no matter what their views are, would have to execute the strategies that he, as president, would lay out.
That's what you have to do when you're in that job. Ryan, finally, Rush Limbaugh came out with a very interesting idea, and one that really caught my attention, which is that Mitt is a turnaround specialist. That's what he did. That's what he did with the Olympics. That's what he did in business. No institution in the government is more in need of a turnaround than the VA, the Veterans Administration. If he was offered that job and Trump said, look, nobody can do it like you could probably do it, would he take that job?
Well, I don't know, but I do know that Governor Romney is very committed to public service. He wants this country to succeed on every level, and I assume if any offer were given to him for any position,
so he wouldn't think that was too small.
No, he's very committed to public service. I think he would consider any offer and is willing to provide advice whether he's in the administration or out on the outside. Yeah,
I got to say, as somebody who's got a son who's in the military right now, that's probably the biggest problem we have in government. But I think it's an intriguing idea. Ryan, thank you very much for coming. Appreciate it.
Thank you.